Happy Friday, everybody. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Friday morning so far. I have a very special guest for y'all today who's going to talk to us about how he became so successful. So stay tuned. That's up next. Inspire the best version of yourself with tips and skills you can implement right away. Look, it's a mind, body, and soul connection, and we all know that when we feel better, we do better. Your future starts now. All right, welcome back, everybody. Well, I'm really excited because today is the first time that we're having a guest on the Design a Life You Love show with Michelle Rohde. I'm your host, your local financial advisor, your wealth and lifestyle coach, and you know, this show is all about showing you how to design a life that you love, right? To show you, no matter where you are in your life, in any area of life, to get from where you are to where you want to be. And so part of that is talking to other successful people, right? And finding out what they've done to be successful. What are their tips, their secrets, their lessons? And then learning that for yourself to save you time, money, and heartache. So that's what the show is about today. I am excited to introduce to you Tomas Rendon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure.
And so several shows back, what I did was I asked the audience live for some recommendations of people in the local community who are very successful that I could talk to about these topics. And Tomas Rendon was one of the people that was recommended to me for an interview. So here he is today to talk to. And I would just like to give you a little bit of background information if you haven't had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Rendon yet. He is a veteran of the U.S. Army, first and foremost. He's done a lot of traveling, but has always come back to Victoria. He said this is his home. He's been here for over 30 years. And he's born in Port Lavaca and a native of Victoria since 1987, to be exact. He's been involved in numerous businesses, as are most entrepreneurs, over the last 30 years, including catering, banking, merchant services, mortgage, and auto finance. And he currently co-owns Cash Customs with his son. Is it Jacoby?
It is,
okay.
Jacoby.
And you have 3 other sons?
I have 3 other sons.
Okay, awesome. And he also has, that Cash Customs business is a local full-service auto shop, and they just celebrated their 5th anniversary.
Last year.
Awesome.
Pardon me, last month.
Okay, congratulations.
Last year was the 4th year anniversary. Yeah, just July was our 5-year anniversary.
Congrats.
And it's been tremendously successful. Thank you for the community and all their support.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big deal to stay in business, so that's an achievement always. And Tomas also owns Big T's Smoke Shack. It's a private cigar shop at his house, and they're celebrating 10 years now, so more long-standing business success there.
Yes.
So congrats. And Tomas also recently bought Sweetwater Energy Services, and they've expanded operations from Houston down here to Victoria now, so we're lucky to have that in our area. I think you're probably the first official professional business that's available to install solar energy for people in Victoria and the surrounding area. So welcome again.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. And I just have about 4 questions for you today that I'm curious about that I think other people could benefit from knowing. So
okay.
If it's all right with you, I'm going to go ahead and
Absolutely.
shoot.
I'm ready.
All right.
I brought my notes.
Good deal. I always have notes too. So, all right. So what do you attribute your success to, either from your mindset to your daily habits?
Well, I'd like to address both of them. My daily habits are very critical to me. I start off every day with prayer, even if it's only 2 or 3 minutes. But I think regular prayer is very critical to success. You also need to have a very supportive network of friends and family, people that encourage you, people that champion you, people that have your back.
Yeah.
both psychologically and emotionally, because being your own boss can be draining. You probably know that yourself.
Absolutely.
I also have an opportunity every day to wake up with purpose. It's real easy when you're your own boss to lay down, sleep in, and just say, "Oh, I'll do it later." Mm-hmm. But if you don't wake up with purpose, then what happens to the day, and then one day turns into 5 days, turns into 10 days, can turn into a lifetime of failure.
Absolutely.
So every single day you're given the opportunity to focus on your purpose.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah. So
have a purpose.
Have a purpose. Know what your purpose is and drive after it.
Yeah.
My typical day, I wake up, I pray. Now for the last 3 weeks, through the encouragement of my wife, I started working out.
Awesome.
It really is a good stress reliever. And then I come home and I get dressed and I put my work clothes on. When you're self-employed, it's easy to get up and say you're going to be productive and stay in your pajamas. Mm-hmm. And some people like to brag about that, but the reality of it is, from a mindset,
right?
If you're dressed in your pajamas, you're still sleeping. Mm-hmm. So I get up and I get dressed and I put my work clothes on because I'm going to work.
That's a great tip.
And so if you don't do that, mm-hmm. it's real easy to jump on the couch, or even if you're at your desk, to jump on Facebook because you're still in your pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
Brush your teeth, wash your face, comb your hair. Get dressed, be groomed, be ready.
Yeah.
Even if you're just at home. Brings to mind an old saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and believe me, if you intend to do good but you don't, failure is hell.
Yeah.
And you don't want to struggle, so it's real critical that you focus on that.
It's so true. You often don't know that you're on the road to hell sometimes.
You don't.
It just and it's so quick and easy to do. One small, tiny step at a time, it builds and adds up in the wrong direction.
It simply put, it is, so you have to stay the focus, mm-hmm. and realize what your purpose is. And the last thing is, it's something I've been talking about lately on my social media. Mm-hmm. It's find your people.
Yeah, I liked that post. Y'all, go look at Tomas's Facebook page. He did a post about finding and having your people, having that circle. That's a good post right there. Yeah,
Chris Valaton is a minister, mm-hmm. that we listen to on a regular basis, my wife and I. Mm-hmm. And he talked about this last year, and I can tell you right now, find your people. Friends are friends, family is family, but mm-hmm. find your people. Your people will champion you. They'll encourage you. They will support you. They will push you, and they will challenge you to do the very best you can do.
Right.
And I think that's very, very important. I mean, finding your people, and once you find who your people are, and mm-hmm. you keep them close to your chest, they will assure that you drive for that success.
Right. I definitely, that speaks to, I think, a lot of business owners, and it can be a very challenging spot when you get discouraged, when you're working hard, you're serving others, and you find that maybe you're not getting the support you had hoped or expected from your close family and your friends, and you're like, what's up with that? But someone also told me a long time ago that they still see you as that elementary friend or as their baby, and so you're in that role, and they're not in that entrepreneurial driven mindset. So that's why you have to find those people who are on that thought process. So that I think that was a great post that really speaks to
Thank
that.
you.
So good job.
The last thing I would share with that is prayer is central.
Yeah.
Prayer is central. Purpose is critical.
Yeah.
But people are crucial.
Oh, that's great. Can you say that again for everybody?
Prayer is central.
Yeah.
Purpose is critical. Mm-hmm. But people are crucial.
Man, that's tweetable right there.
And once you realize that and you take ownership of that, I mean, you truly can become unstoppable. Man,
that's a wonderful foundation that can be like just the bedrock of your everyday life. So that's powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it really and genuinely is core mm-hmm. to my foundation of what I do and just about everything I pursue.
And speaking on that, do you mind sharing what your purpose is that you wake up with every day?
Absolutely. I own several businesses, but my main purpose is really to help my community. My wife mm-hmm. has a vision that she's chased down and dreamed, and we now help the community with the program. It's all her. Mm-hmm. All I have done is support her and encourage her.
Well, that's half of it.
And this ministry is Restoration House Ministry. She's partnered with Teresa Clackman.
Wonderful ministry. Yeah, and Teresa's great.
Yes, thanks. Yes, they are. But the ministry is Jeans for Teens. A lot of folks don't know, a lot of folks don't realize, but there are at any given time anywhere from 700 to 1,000 or more homeless teens going to school in our very own community.
Too many.
And they are overlooked. And I've had some people, I've seen some posts talk about, well, they're homeless, but they live with their grandmother in a country club. And that may be true, but still, what people don't realize is homelessness is a serious issue. And the definition of homeless means they literally do not have a home to call their own. They're displaced. So what if they're living in the country club? If they're sleeping on the sofa, how are they going to invite their friends to come and spend the night? How are they going to have that privateness that a lot of teens need?
That security.
Exactly. And so it doesn't matter if you're sleeping in the garage or the sofa at your grandmother's house and grandma lives on the golf course or by the pool. That's irrelevant.
Right.
There's something to be said about having a home, and I'm so thankful that my mom and dad always provided for me and gave me a good foundation. As a matter of fact, I grew up with lots of foster kids through the years, and so it's close to the heart. And my wife has done this for 4 years, and so 25% of all the profits in all of our business we pour back into the community.
Wow, that's hefty. Great job.
And we don't do it because we're looking for accolades or a pat in the back. We do it because really that's our heart.
Wow.
That is truly and genuinely our heart. That's what we want to do. And we feel like God has given us a greater cause beyond ourselves, and we're just doing our small part.
What a wonderful purpose.
That's where it's at,
Thank you for sharing that and bringing a spotlight to that, too, in today's show. I mean, wow. So congrats to y'all on finding the need and serving that need and letting others know about it. So should they contact you if they want to help?
They can contact me, but better still, they would be able to contact my wife. She's always at Cash Customs during the day.
Okay.
And you can reach out to her.
What's her name?
Her name is Deborah Rendon.
Deborah Rendon. Okay.
And she's a gem. She's a true gem. I call her my angel queen.
Oh, I love that. Rocky. I like that title.
It's up for grabs.
Right. I can be Angel Queen Jr. Awesome. Okay, so next question I have for you is, what is your secret to overcoming roadblocks and stress?
Well, first I think you have to realize that it's inevitable. You're going to have stress. You're going to have roadblocks. I mean, if the path to success was easy and covered in gold and roses, everybody would do it.
Right.
Everybody would do it. But first, just realize you're going to have roadblocks, you're going to have stress. For me, it's my faith. Plain and simply, it's my faith. It's what sustains me, it's what grounds me, it's what anchors me in my vision and allows me to experience success. Currently, I focus standing and meditating on Proverbs 3:5-6. And I'd like to read it real quick.
Sure,
it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths." And when you read it, it's really very simple, but it's also pretty deep once you really think about it and meditate it. You realize, okay, God, I'm going to trust you, but then after that, what do? You can trust Him, but if that's all you're going to do is trust Him and then you stop, then where do you go from there?
Nowhere.
You go nowhere. You have to move. You have to step. You have to faith. So even though it's not coming out and physically saying to move, it really is a call to action.
Yes.
And that's critical to success is action.
Yes.
You can have all the faith in the world, and you can have all the belief in the world, and you can have all the vision in the world and all the dreams. But if you don't put them into action, they're just an idea. So
start stepping in faith. Start walking that walk.
Yes. Yeah. Once I've done that and I realize to trust God with my next step, that's when I realize something good is about to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the critical part. Last year, for me, was my call to action. In the same month of April of last year, God called me to buy a house and to quit my job that I was working with at Mack Hike Ford as Special Finance Director. I was making plenty of money with them, had great benefits, great work environment. My boss, Jimmy Stewart, was a fantastic guy to work with, and I had pretty much whatever I wanted, whatever I needed.
Yeah.
And within the same month, God said, okay, buy this house, your mortgage is going to go more than double, and quit your job and start a new career.
Now, think about that, people. That's a tough call to action.
It was tough.
Yeah.
And honestly, part of me felt like, some of you may relate, some of you may not, but part of me felt like Abraham walking up the mountain with his child.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
And it was challenging because none of it made sense, you know, and I literally wrestled with God in my prayer time about this, and God told me, he says, look, he goes, do you want to do my plan or do you want to do your plan?
Right.
And once I realized that his plan is always going to be greater than my plan, that's when I said, okay, and I laid it down, and I stepped out on faith, and I did it. And I'm not going to lie, it was not easy.
Yeah, lean not into your own understanding, right?
Back to that passage, you know, and here I am, a year later, actually a year and a half later, and I can honestly say I do not regret taking that step, taking that faith, and taking that move. And I've had people behind me. I've had people champion me. I've had people encouraging me, pushing me. And again, I can tell you, this goes back to that what I was saying earlier. You know, the prayer was very important part of it, and the purpose was a very important part of it, but it was the people that made everything make sense. And the people behind me made it sense, you know. Yeah. So shortly after that, God tells me to sell all my toys. He tells me to sell all my toys and pour it into this new opportunity. And I did. You know, I had a race truck, had a collection of motorcycles, had a collection of weapons and cigar paraphernalia, and I sold it.
Wow.
You know, I sold it because that's what God instructed me to do, and I was obedient. There was people, we were posting stuff on Facebook Marketplace, people were reaching out, man, is everything okay? Is Thomas, you know, something wrong with Thomas? You know, is you know, because I just got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people thought, man, Tomas must be on his deathbed, you know. A lot of people really thought the worst, but we had to post up and said, no, we're just being faithful. Yeah. You know, and then it gave us an opportunity to challenge others, you know, what are you going to do to be faithful, you know, and that's where it was at, you know. So once I'd done that, you know, I realized that faith, and looking back at everything, faith. The bottom line is faith.
And for people who are wondering, who maybe don't have this experience of hearing what they're supposed to do, are you hearing this in your quiet time, in your prayer time, when you're meditating on the Word?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, and I'm not saying you have to be Christian or love Jesus or have a relationship with God to be successful, but if you think about success at the core of it, you have to have faith. And faith is a critical element of Christianity. Yep. You know, it's something that's talked about in God's Word often. Right. You know, so
it's helped you.
It's been tremendous.
And it can help others. So,
you know, it's been tremendous, you know. And so I'd encourage anybody, if you're looking at, you know, chasing a dream, chasing a vision, and you are pouring in faith, take it a step further. You won't regret it.
Good word. All right. So on that note, what other mentors have you had, and what did they teach you?
That can be a pretty comprehensive list, so I'll make it as short as I can.
That's a good problem, right?
But yeah, but over my life, I'm 50 years old. I've had a lot of people pour into me, and I've made an opportunity to hold on to all of the good stuff. Something my grandpa used to say was you had to have cow sense, and cow sense was you chew on all the good stuff, but you spit out the twigs. And you spit out the baling wire.
Oh, that's good.
You know, and so once you've got cow sense, you realize everybody's going to pour into you, and everybody's going to share some stuff with you, but some of it's not going to be good information.
Yeah, some of it's junk.
Yeah, some of it's junk, you know, so you have to have the cow sense to know what's good and what's not good, you know.
And not to hang on to that stuff that can bring you down. Good, yeah.
Right, so my first mentors are honestly my mom and my dad. You know, they've given me a fantastic house to grow up in, and they've encouraged me to this very day. And they've instilled a biblical foundation and a relationship with Christ that to this day I hold on to. And so that's one thing that I am definitely rooted in. Good. The second, I don't know if I could consider my wife a mentor, but she is definitely a champion. And she definitely encourages me and believes in me and supports me in everything that I do, even if it sounds ridiculous. I mean, who amongst us could say, you know, talking about a wife, my husband quit his job and bought a house with the mortgage that's more than twice, and I'm fine with that, you know. I know she was pulling her hair out, you know. Yeah. But on the surface, she stood firm, she stood tall, she stood proud, and she supported me, and I couldn't have done that part without her, because the last thing I want to do is put my wife under any stress or duress, you know. Yeah. I've watched her grow and mature in Christ over the years, and watched her vision of helping the students of the ministry be benefited, and I've watched that, and it's been incredible. And she may not realize how much she's impressed upon me. But I want to make this public. Angel Queen, you've done great, and I'm proud of you, and it really has pushed me to be a better man.
Inspires you, huh?
It really does,
Yeah.
you know. And so I can't omit that. I don't know if she'd be considered a mentor, but she's definitely a driving force.
Sure.
There's also Juan Lozano. When I was very young, Juan Lozano brought me into the mortgage industry before the mortgage industry was even really a thing in 1994. And he instilled a foundation of confidence in me. And I don't even know where he's at nowadays, or even if he is alive, because back in the 90s, he was in his 60s.
Oh, wow.
You know, so he maybe passed away, but he worked with Nations Bank, and he recruited me because he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and he brought me to the banking industry without any college degree, without any college education, without any formal background other than being in the military.
Yeah.
But I could speak Spanish, and he brought me in, and we were successful, and that was where I first got my taste of success, and it was very enlightening.
Yeah.
Most recently, I would say the people that I really value, Steve Argyright, he hired me in the 80s to come work with him at his first job. I didn't realize it was a new company, but his Christian foundations have instilled a lot of faith in me, and he was constantly encouraging.
Yeah.
Brent Goen has been a good friend for many, many years. Brent and Steve own Warrior Supply, and they've done fantastic things in supporting me, and they've even allowed me to go to work for them. Recently, I was introduced to Jim Mylock and Todd Harrell, and those guys may not realize it, but their encouragement on a daily basis has been very critical to me. And so I completely appreciate those guys. And one of the things that they've taught me over the years has been, you know, stay focused, stay true to yourself, keep God first, and chase your vision, chase your dream.
Yeah. And it sounds like, too, you never realize quite how much you might be impacting or lifting somebody up, the impression that you might be making.
Yes, absolutely. And then the last person I would say is my best friend, Eddie Teague. That guy is he's an incredible man. He gives of himself until there's nothing left to give. He's an incredible father, a loving, giving husband, and a fantastic friend, and he's one of my biggest encouragers. He's always got something positive to say. He always listens to whatever I've got dealing with. We sit down and chat and smoke cigars and fellowship almost daily. And I can tell you, if you don't have a best friend that will sit there and do that for you and encourage you, guys, find one. Yeah. Find that guy. God's word says iron sharpens iron, and I can tell you, man, that guy keeps me sharp.
Awesome.
You know, and so I really can't thank any of these guys enough. I don't know if they realize how much they love me and how much they mean to me and how much I love them, but it's very, very important to a lot of what I've experienced over the life, you know, and so it's eye-opening.
Great. So find your iron.
Find your iron.
Yeah, that's a good takeaway. And lastly, what advice would you give our viewers who are interested in starting their own successful business or taking the business they have to the next level?
The one critical thing in my mind is people. You know, I'll say it again. Prayer, purpose, and people.
Yeah.
You've got to find those.
The 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps, you know. Once you find prayer to be beneficial to you, and then once you find your purpose, surround yourself with the right people. Make sure that these people are champions for you. Make sure that they encourage you. Make sure they believe in you. Make sure they've got your back. You're going to find people that are your friends to your face and your foes to your back. And, you know, there's a lot to be said about having the right people, and that's one of the things I can't emphasize enough. You know, everybody should know how to pray.
Yeah.
And everybody should find what their purpose is. You know, once you find your purpose, it's easy to drive to that success. The challenge that a lot of people have is finding the right folks to put in their corner.
Yeah.
And it may be one person, it may be 20 persons. You know, there's no limit to how many people you can have, but you have to make sure that the people are there, they champion you, they encourage you, they believe in you, they have faith in you, and that every time you're around them, that there's nothing but positivity and an outpour of belief and faith in you. And when you've got that, it's hard to fail.
Yeah.
You know, because you're going to fall, but these people are going to be the purpose for you to get back up and get to driving.
Yeah.
And realize that just because you're down doesn't mean you have to stay down.
So it sounds like a good takeaway to realize is that to be a successful entrepreneur, you can't do this alone.
Not at all. You have to have a team, and I've got at the shop, my son Jacoby, he's the co-owner. That guy, and everybody who knows him will tell you he works harder than anybody else, and he will work until he gets it right.
Yeah.
And if he messes up, he'll do what he can to rectify it. My wife runs the office. In my company with Sweetwater Energy, I've got an incredible team of gentlemen that have the same vision, and we pull the same load in the same direction. And if you've got that and you find your people, then cherish them, love them, encourage them back, and do what you can to make sure they feel loved and appreciated, because that's how you keep your people around you.
Absolutely. Man, well, thank you so much, Tomas, for being on the show. I mean, just a ton of solid golden nuggets in what this man said today. I think you should probably go back and watch it a couple times, take notes, meditate on it.
Prayer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm humbled by the invitation. I'm humbled by the fact that people in the community actually consider me to be successful, because honestly, the way I look at myself, I'm just a man doing a job, trying to make a difference and trying to do my part.
That might be the definition of success, my man.
So maybe it is.
Yeah.
But I want to say thanks to the community for their constant support over the years that we've been in business, doing everything from selling cars to helping them get their mortgages arranged to taking care of their cars at the shop to entrusting me to help them save thousands of dollars with the solar energy company that I've now ventured into. And man, get with me. Let me know how I can help you.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Tomas, and hope you all have a great rest of your FriYAY. And if there are any other successful people you think I need to interview, let me know. I think next up I'm going to hit up Stephen Argybright, was somebody that was recommended to me that you also mentioned. So
fantastic guy. Yeah. I'd love to see his insights.
So hopefully we can get him on the show next. So I'll be hollering at you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Sure. Absolutely. See y'all later.